there was something I wanted to discuss. Have you guys been watching that anime called Solo Leveling?
Yes,
No.
I just finished last episode right before
Solo
the show.
11.
Okay, I want to discuss something about that really quickly before we move on to the next trailer. So let me pull it up here.
What is it on?
All right.
Is it like Netflix or?
They are copying the Chimera and Saga.
Yeah, it's on one of the anime streaming services. Is it Crunchyroll?
Okay.
I can't remember which one I watched it on. But look, I really like the show. I do. And I want to have a discussion about being inspired by something and just straight copying. Straight copying. Just straight copying something. So I'm assuming
you said it's called Solo? I'm trying to look it up.
It's called Solo Leveling. And I like it. It's a fun show. It's one of
Solo
the few
Leveling.
shows
Okay.
that's kind of based on like gaming that I like, because I'm not a gamer. So all the shows that are really kind of based on gaming, I don't particularly care for. But this one I actually kind of like, right? Especially how it began, like the premise of it and stuff like that. And you're not being spirited away into a game or some other world. It's actually happening in the real world. But for whatever reason, they get game-like abilities for whatever reason. They haven't really explained that yet. But that's part of why it's intriguing. But anyway, have you been watching it, Carbon?
No.
Wow, I can't believe it. I figure you would be really into this one.
I've been watching Ray Zero.
Yeah, you really like that Ray Zero. I have to check that out because you keep talking about it, so it has to be good.
Hey, Brian.
Huh?
The lore is good.
Hey, Brian, is it?
The lore in that show is amazing.
What was that, King Supreme?
Is this kind of like sort of like, remember like back in the day they had that Nintendo Power cartoon? You know, you had like King Hippo in it and things, you know, stuff like that. He had like the controller on his belt. Is it so? It's nothing like that. Like, are you saying like copying from that part or?
No. This isn't a game. It's an anime. But it has a lot of it has a lot of adventure games going into dungeons type of lore to it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, you can try it.
If I had to categorize it, it's a little bit of Hunter x Hunter, a little bit of Final Fantasy, and a little bit I hate to say it might be a stretch, like a little bit of Pokemon, because he is like going around capturing a lot of things.
Yeah. All right, but I just wanted to say, like, the last episode, it was just like, I don't know, it just seemed like a ripoff to me. It like, and one could argue that Meruem from Hunter x Hunter was inspired by Cell, right? But I would argue that what Togashi did with Meruem, he was inspired by it, but he made it his own thing. He made Meruem his own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Meruem became so much more. It's sort of like Thanos was a ripoff of Darkseid, but Thanos became so much more. Like he became his own thing. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see Meruem itself, right? The similar, you could tell Meruem was clearly inspired by it, or Togashi was clearly inspired by Cell, but he made him his own character. And now, to be fair, I haven't seen the next episode of Solo Leveling. I watched the last episode where the ant thing gets hatched and they go invade the island to kill the ants, right? And then the homegirl gets killed. Yeah, so I'm on the last. Yeah, we're on the same. But this was just seemed like such a ripoff. Like it was almost the exact same story. Like, say what you want about Meruem and Cell. Meruem has a completely different like backstory to Cell. You know what I'm saying?
You end up liking
this backstory is almost exactly the same, you know.
Well, you end up liking Meruem towards the end of his run. Like,
yeah, I don't want to get too much on the lore of Hunter x Hunter. That's not really what I want the discussion to be. My discussion is about when is something being straight copied and when is something inspired. Like, what do you guys think?
Well, I can't say too much about to go back to the Thanos and Darkseid thing, because they're both drawn by Jack Kirby. So basically, those are both his babies.
Yeah, but I don't think he created. Did he create both?
The new gods, he created the new gods.
Who created Thanos?
I can't remember. I want to say
Starlin.
I don't want to say
Jim. I thought it was Jim Starlin.
I want to say you have to look it up because
Jim Starlin and Mike Friedrich, they created Thanos. I mean, it's pretty known that Thanos is a ripoff of Darkseid. You know, that's pretty well known. My thing is that it was Thanos became his own person. Like he was more inspired by Darkseid, but he's done different things. He has a different type of lore. He has a different type of mindset. To me, he's a much better character actually than Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid is written.
Is it more so, but like his characteristics or something?
Yeah, I'll put it like this: Darkseid is the way I would describe it is Darkseid is the typical big bad, the embodiment of evil type of character, but he's really not that interesting. Thanos is similar, but what makes Thanos interesting is that he has a lot of quirks. Like, for instance, one of Thanos' quirks is that he's like the ultimate simp. Like Thanos is a lot of what, at least in the comics, a lot of what motivates Thanos in the comics is maybe until relatively recently. I don't know what's going on now, but when I was reading comics, a lot of what motivated Thanos was that he was in love with the literal personification of death, right?
Still is.
But death would never say it. Death never speaks to him. So everything he does is for the love of her. That to me is just an infinitely more interesting character than saying, "Hey, I'm just the biggest bad guy ever." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that really kind of brings him down on a human level, like and he is I think the Titans come from like baseline humans, but
they're basically mutants.
And also I would say that when it comes to the way I see Thanos is like Doctor Doom, but in space. Like the guy, he's the badass motherfucker. Like he's very calculating. You know what I'm saying? And he'll beat you with wits. Even though he's incredibly powerful, and he'll throw hands if he has to, but he'll outsmart you before he beats the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Tell him about the Silver Surfer fight. Tell him about the Silver Surfer fight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's just a far more interesting character in my opinion than Darkseid. And I feel the same way about
Gotcha.
and Cell. And I like Cell. Cell's a cool character, but I think Meruem is just far more interesting. That's why I say Meruem is really more of he's more inspired. He was inspired by Cell, but this new thing from Solo Leveling, it's a ripoff. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I will say Meruem looks closer to Cell than this guy looks to Meruem. So maybe not like as far as visuals, but the basic story beats, it's a ripoff. It's a straight ripoff. Yeah. But that's just me. Like maybe you guys think differently, like, but I know King Supreme and Carbon haven't watched the series, but if you've seen Hunter x Hunter, it's like, okay, well, you have these things called the Chimera Ants. The Chimera Ants come from another world.
Yeah.
They can evolve. They can evolve really quickly. They have a queen. The queen gives birth to the most powerful ant there ever was, and it starts wrecking shop on some of the heroes in the. It's like almost the exact same story. Almost the exact same story beat.
Some of the heroes, all of them.
Pretty much all. Yeah. Pretty much all. The only thing is he looks a little different. He looks more like an ant. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't look that cool. Like to me, he don't look that cool. Yeah.
I mean, they have had great character designs from some of the enemies, but you're right. He does not look.
Now look at that. He looks stupid.
I mean, he looks like a big mosquito.
He looks like a minion. He looks like one of the minions that would get killed off. You know what I'm saying? Like Meruem looks like a supreme. The supreme.
I don't know about
prince
all that, bro. I'm not gonna. He looks kind of. He always look kind of goofy. He literally has a turtle shell on his head, dog.
What? I don't know. When I saw the turtle shell, it kind of what did it remind me? It reminded me of something.
Like, to me, that just looks kind of goofy. Now, Perfect
like
Cell,
Meruem. I think
Perfect Cell, that'd be one thing, but this guy, he does not.
I would agree that I think Cell looks cooler, but I still really do like Meruem's look. He you know what he has like it's almost like he was inspired by like something. For some reason I get Thai. I don't know why. Like from Thailand. Like why do I get that the image in my head for some reason?
I don't know,
man.
I like the fact that Meruem is short too, whereas Cell was like massive.
He did tower over Goku.
Yeah,
I think he was on par with Piccolo. Piccolo's a tall Z fighter.
Yeah, he was taller than TN too.
Yeah, TN is like the next tallest.
Maybe it's the vest in the long earlobes. For some reason, it reminds me of something Thai. I don't know why.
You talking about like the monks that like stretch out their earlobes? I don't know if that'd be a monk thing, but I know there's like a group of people that stretch out their earlobes.
Yeah. I mean, we know that comes from like the Buddhist thing or whatever. I don't know why I think that, but that's what I think. I like Meruem. I think Meruem looks cool, and just one of the greatest story arcs ever in anime. I mean, Hunter x Hunter just has some great story arcs.
And you end up liking him by the end of the story.
No, man, I kind of wanted him to get destroyed.
When he realized, like, hey, you know, maybe I can. He's just a sympathetic character, and most of his enemies, you know,
it was a good. I thought. I don't want to get too much in it because that's not what this is about. But I'll just say that I think that when you look at Meruem's story, his story is the yin to Gon's yang. Yeah, it's like Gon is this go-lucky child who has to become a monster, or he becomes a monster, whereas Meruem is born a monster and he becomes more human. And it's just a beautiful story. Like the way it's told is just so good. You know what I'm saying? Hunter x Hunter is up there. It has to be my second favorite anime of all time. I mean, it's just beautifully told story, I think, in my opinion. But we'll move on. Unless everybody else had anything else to say. I personally think it was a ripoff. I think Solo Level is ripping off. That is not inspiration. They're ripping off. They're clearly ripping off. All right, so but I'll let you guys say your last word on this before I move on.
I mean, you got to be inspired for something to make a story. Most people get some inspiration from somewhere, you know.
Do you think again, that's kind of the whole point. Do you think this rises to the level of just inspiration?
Or it's still its own story. I mean, it's just like one villain and one bigger story. I'm like, yeah, it's not like they're copying the whole story of Hunter x Hunter. I mean, it may have to be like one plot.
It's the exact same story beats. The exact same.
They walk in there, they see all the eggs, and then they see this gigantic egg. A matter of fact, I was kind of.
Does the king have the same goal as the other? Does he become humanized like how he does, or is he just evil and the whole time? If he's still evil the whole time, he's still a different character.
Well, to be fair, we don't know yet because we haven't seen. I'm just talking about the origins of the character and the story beats, like how you get to where you have this powerful ant.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they got to be laid from eggs. I mean, I guess the other day was about doing it, but I mean, that's the basic story. I mean, there's the basic story that a lot of stories are using. You need some way to have your enemy.
I've never seen the Hunter x Hunter ant story ever done in any type of media. That was actually pretty original. I'm sure he was inspired by something, but I remember seeing it. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And to see it again, and to be fair, you can even copy a story beat and still have an original character. So I have to give it some room. Maybe they will make this character more interesting later on. But for example, Goku's story beats is pretty similar to Superman, but Goku became his own kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Goku is very distinct from Superman, even though he has a similar origin story. So one could say that Goku, in some ways, Superman wasn't the only inspiration, but he was one of the inspirations for Goku, right? Obviously, it was Eastern traditions from Journey to the West and the Monkey King. But I don't know. As I was watching it, like for instance, right, when you watch Dragon Ball Z and you see Goku's origin story, I don't think, oh, they're just ripping off of Superman. I think, okay, yeah, this is inspired by Superman because it's different. It's different enough. When I was watching this, I was like, man, this is a straight rip off of Hunter x Hunter. At least that's how I saw it. Yeah. What's up, Charlie Gamma Jr.? Thanks for showing up and giving us I don't know what kind of emoji that is. I'm blind, my computer screen. But thank you for showing up.
I mean, some things take heavy inspiration, like talking about Dragon Ball. We could talk about Sonic, but how do you have like a whole transformation similar to Dragon Ball? They have some of the similar characters where it's like Sonic's Goku and then Shadow is Vegeta. There's like a ton of similar things between like Sonic and Dragon Ball. There's plenty of shows and stuff.
But where do you cross the line where you're just ripping off? Where do you cross the line? Like what? That's kind of what the conversation.
To me, in the modern day, I don't really think there's a line anymore. I mean, there's just so much stuff to watch at this point that
Well, I will give Carbon this leniency. The Japanese do collaborate a lot more than the American side of because they actually they are friends because they're all basically slaves to their art. They'll sit there for hours and hours and hours, like, hey, what do you think?
This isn't a collaboration. This is like you just straight ripping off somebody. This isn't a collaboration.
Once again,
I don't think it's a rip off.
Once again, they are friends. I don't know the relationship between the authors of this story, but
remember this is Korean. This is Korean. I'm not saying that Korean and Japanese people can't be friends, or if they're in the same industry, they can't know of each other. And maybe this was an homage to Hunter x Hunter. Maybe it was. Maybe this is his way of saying, hey, I really like Hunter x Hunter as a series. But again, I think when does something cross the line? You're just ripping it off. This is a straight rip off. I think this crossed the line. That's just my opinion. All right, we'll move on.
We do.
I know they came out with a. Go ahead, King Supreme.
Oh no, I was just trying to think of something like that because I would say Transformers and GoBots, but you see what I'm saying? But it felt different. I mean, I don't know.
Well, King Supreme, this is one thing I have to say about what you just said. Transformers sued GoBots and ended up owning GoBots. But that was a whole brand.
But then GoBots come first. There was a whole bunch of mech type things and transformation and stuff. So I mean, I guess the storyline really, but that it kind of felt the same. And then at the same time, hey, this is hot right now, so cash grab. And I want to say GoBots, their toys were cheaper, I guess, and Transformers was like the premium at the time, whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they both were on TV and stuff, and also, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I want to go back and kind of see what was, like the real difference of it, man. But even in Transformers 1, they make reference to it and stuff. Talking about the GoBots. So I don't know. Yeah, I have to look that up.
I thought GoBots came out. I thought GoBots came out first too. I remember watching GoBots when I was real young. But
yeah. Because they were humans as well and all too, weren't they?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I do remember when Transformers came out, I thought it looked cooler than GoBots. I thought it looked cooler. So, yeah.